Welcome students, welcome to the lecture number 2 of conditional and looping constructs. Okay, in the previous lecture we have discussed about some relational operators. Okay, and the relational operators are this greater than, equal to, less than, equal to and not equal to. Okay, so in the previous lecture we have discussed that these relational operators are mainly used to create the conditional statement in our program. Okay, and if we want to use that conditional statement in our program, then we have to use the decision control statements. Okay, and we have discussed about two types of decision control statements in the previous lecture, and they are if, and the second one is if else, right? So let us discuss the third one, the third decision control statement, right? So for discussing that third decision control statement, so let me write a case in front of you, that is case number third. Okay, now what is this case number third? Suppose we are taking the criteria of a bill. Okay, in the previous lecture we have discussed the usage of if and else with the help of a case in which we are focusing on the net bill of a customer. Alright, so over here I have written that give discount to the customer, just wait, give discount to the customer as per the slab, right? So over here in the case number third, a slab is given to you. Okay, and on the basis of that slab you have to give discount to the customers, right? So suppose if the value of bill, and on that basis of bill we are setting some discount rate. Okay, so suppose if the value of the bill is from 0 to 6,999, in that case a discount of just 2% will be given, right? But if the customer bill is from 7,000 to 12,999, and in that case a discount of 6% will be given. And suppose if it is from 13,000 to 18,999, in that case a discount of suppose 9% will be given. And if the bill value is greater than equal to 19,000, in that case a discount of 12% will be given to the customer, right? So suppose in this case we have a slab like this, right? So now you can see that in this case we have not one condition, not two condition. In this case we have more than two conditions with us. All right, so we have seen that when we have one condition with us, then if is suitable for that, right? Okay, we have seen that if we have one condition with us, right? So in that case if is used, right? We can use if for that. And if we have two conditions, okay, in that case in order to handle these two conditions we can use the concept of if and else, right? We can use the concept of if and else. But what happen if we have a conditions more than two? You can see in this case we are having a conditions more than two, right? In this case we are having four conditions. So how to deal those cases in which there are more than two conditions? Okay, so for handling those type of situation we are using another decision control statement, and that is in which you will use if. In the if you will specify the condition first and then put colon, and whatever statement you want to perform in this case you simply write those statements. Okay, right? Statement number 2. And for in the case of if else, we have only two conditions with us, so we will write the first condition with the if, and the second condition will be considered in else part. But over here there are more than two conditions. Okay, so if one condition is true, so in that case we can perform these two conditions. But suppose if the condition number 1 is not true, then we can't perform any statement directly. We have to check for some other case also, right? Suppose in this case I am taking the case in which the user has given me three conditions. Okay, the situation with which I am dealing consists of three conditions. The first condition I have specified with the if part, right? But what about the rest of the conditions? Then I will use elif. Okay, because we have three conditions with us. One condition I have specified with the if part. Now how many conditions are left? Two conditions. So obviously I can't straight away go to some decision that okay, perform this kind of work. No, I have to again check the second condition, right? So elif, then condition 2 will be specified, and whatever the statement will be required for that, we will write those statements. And suppose if condition number 2 is true, then we have to perform only single statement, that is statement number 3, and at last we will put else. So statement 4. Okay, so then we will do the following statement, like statement 5 and statement 6. So these are the normal statements. So let me explain you the execution cycle of this whole chain. So in under if statement we are having these two statements. Okay, if condition these two statements are present, and in the case of elif only statement number 3 is present, and in the case of else the statement number 4 is present. Okay, so how this will be work? First, when the control comes to the if condition, it will check the condition joined with the if. Okay, and suppose if this condition is true, then in that case it will straight away perform the statements associated with the if condition, that is statement number 1 and 2, and once it is finished off with this statement, the control straight away move out of this if else chain, and statement jumps to and the control jumps to straight away to the statement number 5, because from statement number 5 the if else chain basically finishes at statement number 5. Okay, so first is check the condition number 1. If the condition number 1 is true, then statement 1 and 2 will be performed, and after that the control goes to the out of this if else if chain. Okay, and moves to the statement number 5 straight away. But suppose what happen if this condition number 1 is not true, if this condition is false? In that case what will happen, right? If this condition number 1 is false, in that case what will happen? Then the control moves to the second condition, that is which is associated with the elif part. Okay, and checks whether this condition is true or not. All right, and suppose if this condition is true, okay, if the condition number 2 is true, in that case the system will perform this statement number 3, and then the control comes out of this if else chain. Okay, but suppose if this condition 2 is also false, right? If this condition 2 is also false, then the control straight away moves to the else part. Okay, and do this statement number 4. So how this chain works? First it checks the condition number 1. If the condition number 1 is true, then it will perform the statements joined with the condition 1 and leave the rest of the cases, and after completing the statement the control moves to the out of this if else chain. But if the condition associated with the if is false, right, if it is false, then the control moves to the second elif case. Okay, and checks the condition associated with the elif part, right? When the control moves to the elif part? Only when the condition 1 which is associated with the if is false, then only the control moves to the elif part. Okay, and checks the condition number 2. If the condition number 2 is true, then it will perform the statement number 3 and the control moves out of this elif chain. But if this condition number 2 is also false, then there is no way system has to go to the else part, and the statement associated with the else part will be executed, right? So I have taken an example where we have 3 conditions with us. So just remember one thing: first condition you have to specify with if, the last condition will be considered under else part, and in between any number of conditions are there, all those conditions are taken care by this elif statement. So let us do this question. Okay, so let's begin with this question. In this, first we have to take the value of bill from the user. Okay, and suppose we have taken int, or then we will write input just enter the bill. Okay, so now you have taken the bill from the user. Now once we get the bill from the user, then we have to find out the discount, and for the discount we have to check this conditional slab, right? So we will move with the first case, that if the value of bill is less than equal to 6,999. Okay, so this condition, that bill is less than equal to 6,999, covers this entire slab. Okay, this entire slab is covered by this condition, because if the value of bill is equal to 6,999 or less than that, then this condition is true, and this case is covered by the condition number 1. Okay, so in this case we have to find the discount, which is basically the 2% of bill. So it will be 2 by 100, right? Now but if this condition is wrong, it means the bill is more than 6,999, then obviously the control move to the elif part. Okay, so when control comes to the elif part, it means that the value of the bill is either 7,000 or more than 7,000. Okay, because the first the condition specified over here is bill is less than equal to 6,999. If this condition is true, it means the bill is either 7,000 or more than that. So in the elif case, we will set the end point, that is 12,999, right? So if the value of the bill is less than equal to 12,999, then what will happen in that case? The bill will be 6%. So the discount will be 6% of the bill, right? But suppose this condition is also false. It means the value of the bill is 13,000 or more than 13,000. If this condition is also false, but for values above 13,000, we have 2 cases left. All right. So we will use another elif, because we have to specify one more condition, and in that bill less than equal to, it's 18,999. Right. In this case, we will give the discount as bill multiply by 9 upon 100. So it will count the discount as 9% of the bill. And suppose if the value of bill is not less than equal to 8,999, that it means that the value of bill is either 19,000 and more than that. And for greater than equal to 19,000, we have a discount rate of 12%. So if this condition is also false, then we have left with the else case. And in the else case, we will check the discount will be discount is equal to bill into 12 by 100. Okay. Now after that we have to find the net. So net will be bill minus discount, and then at the end we will show the value of the net bill. So we will write that net bill is equal to rupees comma net. Okay, so this will be the program for solving this case. Okay, so you can see that we have created an entire program for solving this case condition. Okay, so you can just note it down, right? So in this case you have to just note down this case number 3rd. Okay, then you have to write this slab, and after that this one, and then you will write this program also. Okay, so I think that you have noted down this program. So let's move to our topic. So we have covered three types of decision control statements. One is the if, other one is the if else, and the third one is if elif, right? So let us do some more questions based on the relational operators. The first question that we are going to perform is basically that is to find highest among two numbers. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to find the highest among the two numbers. Okay, so let's begin with our logic building. Okay, so I'm just removing this all stuff. Now the question which is given to us, the aim of that question is basically we have to find highest among two numbers, right? So we have to find the highest among the two numbers, right? So if so first we have to find out the formula for finding the highest among two numbers, and obviously when we want to check the highest value among two numbers, then obviously I have to compare those numbers, right? So for that I need two numbers, let one number be A and other number be B. Okay, and I have to check whether which one is greater. Okay, the value in A is greater or the value in B is greater. So we have to check among these two numbers. Okay, now after that the second thing is that we have to move to the data collection part. Okay, in the data collection part it is clearly shown that we have to compare values of these two variables. So obviously we have to first collect the values of these two variables. So I have to collect the values of variable A and the variable B. Okay, these two variables value must be collected. So let us see that whether the value of these two variable is given in the question. No, the value is not given in the question. All right, whether any criteria is given. No, the criteria is also not given. So we are left with only one opportunity, that is we have to take the value of A and B both from the user. Okay, so once we get the value from the user, then we are left with the process part in which we have to compare these two values. Okay, so we have to check that whether A is greater than B. Okay, so this is basically our process part. So in the process part we are going to check whether this situation is correct or not. So if this A is greater than B, if this situation is true, so what does it mean? If this situation is true, it means A is basically the highest element, right? So in this case we will simply store the value of A in a variable high if this condition is true. Okay, but suppose if this condition is not true, it is basically false, that the value of A is not greater than B. So what will happen in that case? In that case we will set the value of B in the variable high. Okay, so whatever value the greater one, we will store that value in the variable high, and once we are done with, then we will show the result to the user, and in the result part we have to display the value of high to the user. Okay, so this is basically the logic building of the question. So let's write the program of this question in Python. So let me open my Python mode. So just wait, it is opening. Right, fast. Let me again check. Oh, now okay, so now it's open. So let me open a file first, new file, where I could write the program. Okay, so after that let me write the program by focusing on this logic building. Okay, so in the aim part we have seen that we have to take the two variables, one is the A, another one is the B. All right, And in the data collection we have seen that we have to take the value of a and b from user. So let's take the value of a and b from the user, that a is equal to int input, and in this enter first number, okay, equal to this and this. And then we will take the value of b as int input enter second number, okay, equal to this. Now once we get the value of a and b, then our data collection part is over. Then after that we move to the process part. In the process part we have to first check this condition, okay. So if a is greater than b, right? So if a is greater than b, in that case we will assign the value of a in the variable high. But suppose if that case is not true, in that case we have to assign the value of b to the variable high, okay. So once this checking is over, then we have to show the result part, that is we have to show the value of high. So I simply write print highest number equal to comma, and then we will show the value of high, okay. So now our program is ready. So let us first save the program. Okay, so this is our program number 8_CS11. So now our program is saved, and let's run this program. First it asked me the first number, I have given 45. Then it asked me about the second number, I have given 67, and then it shows me the highest number, that is 67, okay. So this is basically our program to find the highest value among the two numbers, okay. So this one is basically the logic building, and this one is the program, okay. So let's move to our question series. So this is our first question that we have done. Now the next question is that try to program to check whether the given number is odd or even. So now what we have to do, we have to check whether the number given by the user is basically even or odd, okay, and then we have to show the message. So what our aim is basically to check whether given number is odd or even. So this is our basically the aim, okay. So over here it is written that we have to check whether the given number is odd or even. Let's take this given number as num, okay. So let's assume the given number is basically num, and we have to check the value in num is either odd or even, okay. So first we have to collect the value of this num, okay. So data collection part, and in the data collection part we have to obtain the value of num. Obviously we know that the value of num is not given in the question, and also the value of the criteria for getting the value of num is also not mentioned in the question. So we are left with only one option, that is we have to take the value of num from the user, okay. So we will take the value of the num from the user, and once we have the value of num from the user, then we perform our process part, okay. So how our process part will work, okay. So how can we check whether a number is even or odd? Suppose if a number is divided by 2 and we get the remainder as 0, or we can say that it is completely divisible by 2, then we call that number as an even number. And completely divisible by 2 means when we divide the number with 2, we get the remainder as 0. And as you know that we have an operator, that is percentage. This operator is basically used to get the remainder, okay. So obviously we are going to use this operator with us. So if we divide num by 2, okay, so what answer will be given by this expression? This expression will give us a remainder when the value present in num get divided by 2, then whatever will be the remainder is given by this expression. and if that remainder is equivalent to 0, if the remainder is equivalent to 0, then what does it mean? It means if this condition is true, okay, if this condition is true, then it means that the given number is basically a even number. Okay, so if this condition is true, it means that the number which is given by the user is basically an even number. But suppose if this condition is not true, it means that the value of number mod 2 is basically not equal to 0. In that case, if this condition is true, then it means that if this condition is true, it means the given number is basically an odd number. Okay, so we are having two conditions over here, and we know that when we have two conditions with us, we will use if and else. Okay, so basically we use if for specifying the first condition, and the second condition will be considered under else part. Okay, you know that in else part we don't have to write the condition. Okay, because if the number is mod 2 is equal to 0, and if it is true, then it is an even number, but if it is false, then it means that the number mod 2 is not equal to 0. Okay, so we have to show these two values in our result. So let us write the program. Okay, this is my program number 8. So first I will save it with another name. So I will write the name as program 9_CS11. Okay, so now it is saved, and now I remove the code and write the code for finding this result of this. In this we have to take the value of num from the user. So num is equal to int, and then we will write input. Okay, and then enter the number. Okay, once we get the number with us, then we simply check this number. If number mod 2 equal to 0, then what does it mean? It means it is an even number. So we will simply write the message even number. Okay, sorry, even number. Okay, and suppose if this condition is wrong, it means we have to move to the else part, because I told you that if we have two conditions with us, then the first condition is taken with if, and the second condition is considered under else. So we don't have to specify the statement. We will simply write under print, we will write this odd number. Okay, so now our program is ready. So let's run this program, and we will enter some number. Suppose I have entered a number 56. So obviously 56 is an even number, and if I suppose entered any odd number, suppose if I entered like 97, that is an odd number, so it will show me the message odd number. Okay, so this is our program number 2 related to the relational operator. So that's all for today. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.